I'm at Azora 2017 with Octavio Rettig, who wrote the Toad of Dawn book and is a practitioner of Bufo Alvarius toad venom, which contains a very potent entheogen 5-MeO-DMT amongst 18 other alkaloids. Can you give us a quick background of how you got into this medicine?
Well, in 2006, I was living in Chapala, Jalisco, and I received a call from a close friend saying that he had the medicine. And we were struggling for a few years with synthetic drug addiction. And after the first intake of the medicine, I felt this moment of truth and I saw the light. And to become that light, I just needed to take more medicine. And for me, it will be 11 years since the first time that I tried the medicine, and has really changed my life.
Now, I know James Orrock fairly well. He wrote Tryptamine Palace, and he claims that 5-MeO-DMT is the ultimate entheogen. Would you agree with him?
Yeah, well, I think that the toad medicine for me, in my opinion, is the most powerful and complex medicine in the natural form, that in the natural substrate that is as it is, no one need to manufacture or to create anything. But I don't think that the state induced by the toad medicine or any other substance can be the maximum place that you can reach. I think that the combination of some of these medicines can really lead you to another state of awareness beyond any medicine by its own. I think that I've experienced that mixing some of these medicines can be really like the next step for some of us.
I met with Dr. Naram 2 days ago, and he's a well-known Ayurvedic doctor. And we both agreed that Western medicine, it's good for like acute injury, like a gunshot wound, car crash. You want to see a Western doctor immediately. But for chronic diseases and matters of the mind, they fall short. How do you think shamanic, entheogenic medicines can complement Western medicine?
Well, I think that the traditional or indigenous medicine all over the world has a lot to offer to the Western culture, because some of these plants or ancient medicines they had also a tradition behind and a way to use it. And I think that the fusion of the the technological modern advances and the ancient knowledge should be put together to bring the best of each world and create a better one. And I think that everything is complementary, and by working together with all this knowledge, it's I think that easier and better approach than just knowing one of the sides of the coin.
So my own personal research is on psychology and neuroscience of mental health. And it seems to me the more we research into consciousness, the less mechanistic scientific approaches are sufficient. How do you think we can incorporate spiritual and non-duality into helping people with the mind?
Um, well, the shamanic practice with entheogens, it's mainly about freeing the self of the mind, and at some point killing the ego. And I think that
Would you say that the ego is the enemy?
yeah, no, I think that it's just a part of ourselves that we gave a lot of power, and we feed a lot our ego and our mind, and it gets really strong. And sometimes it's difficult to reconnect with the feelings and the heart and the sense that we are our feelings and our emotions, and we are co-creating that reality. And it's sometimes not about thinking too much, but also feeling and doing. And I think that this medicine, in particular, can reconnect people with the true essence that they have, and at the same time release a lot of the stock energy that we all have inside of us. And I do believe that the future is with all these medicines taking place in many different aspects in people's lives, not only for terminal ill patients or really sick people, but also for healthy people who wants to improve their quality of life and expand their own consciousness, and at the same time to create a collective one truth that is created with all these little truths that we all can add with our experiences. And I think that these medicines are a really fast, safe way to go deep into ourselves and just see what is in there, and just embrace ourselves and make the peace within us and all over around us, and just be happy. I think that it's a really good way to just accept and to realize that it's just about infinite love.
Thank you. Now, I mentioned to you about a relative of mine who was in the US Marines for 30 years, and now he suffers from severe untreatable PTSD. And we flew him to LA to get looked at by a MAPS associated psychiatrist who, after a 3-hour consultation, he deemed him too fragile for MDMA therapy, what we were hoping for, and gave him ketamine therapy instead. I personally think that ayahuasca would be too much for him, but you mentioned that the toad venom is different and it could be a suitable choice.
Yeah, yeah. I had the opportunity to share the medicine with war veterans who also were suffering for the post-traumatic disorder, and they receive a lot of benefit after the told medicine, mainly because it's so fast and so strong and so intense that people don't have really much time to control or put the head on it. And it's also like, if at some point there is some fear, it's really short, so there is no really time for you to get hooked into these dark places. And at the same time, the medicine has this property to make people feel just integrated in something greater than themselves. And I think that this brings a lot of just peace and calmness into people's hearts, and just that serenity to knowing that everything is okay and everything is perfect, and that can release and just make people free from all of this trauma and pain that they can carry, that they can still carry in their heart because of the experiences that they had. But this new beautiful experience can really help to erase from their memories all the past ones. And it's I think that a good way to die in the sense that you will let go all of those things that you don't need anymore, but at the same time have a rebirth and just to have a new life. And we all deserve that second chance.
Now, from my own personal experience, I've tried the whole array of entheogens that you commonly hear about, except for iboga, and I did 5-MeO DMT, it vaped, and it took me 9 years to pluck up the courage to do it again. And the second time was with Variola theodoris as a snuff, which lasted maybe 3 times longer, almost an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference for me between 5-MeO and the other entheogens is with 5-MeO, the ego is completely obliterated.
Yeah.
Whereas even with ayahuasca, it's always still there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That will be the main difference with 5-MeO and the rest of the entheogens. This really dissolve completely that perception that you are apart from the rest of the creation. And when this ego goes away, then you feel that you are really everything, and that everything is part of you, and that's just a reason for feeling joy, I think.
Thank you very much, Octavio, and good luck with all your work.
Thank you.
I think
Thank
you're
you. It's been a
doing very
pleasure.
good work in
Thank
helping
you.
so many people.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wish
I
you all
will
the
keep
best.
doing it with all my heart. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.